everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm standing outside Selhurst Park with Dan. Dan, my friend. 2 wins on the bounce, both away from home.
Yeah.
This is exactly the momentum Chelsea fans want going into a cup final.
Yeah, everything we could have asked for going into a cup final, going into City away again. We look great in terms of the fight that we're showing in these games when we've actually had to dig it out of somewhere. That's what's most impressive for me. There's a young squad, we've questioned their fight, we've questioned their hunger, their desire, and they're showing it. Like Villa, they started exceptionally well. This game, they finished exceptionally well, and it's just really, really good to see that. That's the massive positives to take, is that there's something in this squad, and actually it tells me that Pochettino hasn't yet lost the dressing room. They're fighting for him, they're fighting for the club, they're fighting for results. It's amazing to see.
It was quite clear though. I mean, I said this, I don't know if you said this either, Dan. I just don't think the squad was good enough at the beginning of the season when you take into concern the injuries we had. I mean, Tuchel had massive injury problems, but we still had ready-made players in the squad. That's just my example. Now we've got players, it's their first year at the club. I think Poch hit a lot of nails on the head after Villa, calling for patience. And I think people have always said he's made excuses, but he said those things after a win. We're building on it with another win. I mean, when we have our squad, I mean, I don't think there's many excuses. We've got such great talent in there, but it's nice to see him getting the best out of the players we've been so critical of throughout the season. Yeah, at least for today.
To an extent, I still think the last 2 wins might paper over the cracks a little bit with Poch. I think there was a long period of time against Villa in the second half where we weren't very good. There was a period of time in this game as well, up to the 85th minute, where we were pretty ineffective. We didn't really create much. It was steady. They had chances on the counter-attack, but I don't know if he's getting the best out of this team. I think there's some unbelievable players that I genuinely think some managers might do better with. I
agree with you when you say right now. I think that the real question is, what is it going to be like in a year or 2 years?
Poch has to ask for patience. He has to ask for patience right now, because otherwise he'd be sacked. He has to ask people to give him time. He needs it, because ultimately I do think he's been fairly unlucky with injuries that he's had and putting players in and out of position. And look, we've got more injuries again defensively. We've lost Badashile and Thiago Silva in a week. I think he's finally starting to suss on what type of player he's got in Enzo Fernandez. I think he was, again, really good tonight. I think a couple of passes were a bit stray, but on the whole, a great game. He's a fantastic player, Enzo Fernandez, and he's really starting to show Chelsea fans what he's capable of again, because I think there's been a bit of a blip, and moving a little bit deeper, he's been really, really good. Conor Gallagher brings this amazing energy that I think fires on the whole team, and I think that's why, for me, Conor Gallagher's indispensable. I don't think he's worth anything. I just don't think you sell him. He's priceless to Chelsea Football Club. Pochettino, I think this is actually, we've all questioned kind of what we're seeing from Poch. What's he doing on the training ground? What is it? Well, we all know, and we've known this for a long time, that it's about fitness, and I think we've shown tonight the levels of fitness that this team have, this squad have, not in terms of injuries, because I think that's different, but I think in terms of the players that are durable and can stay fit, they were non-stop tonight. And actually, when the going got really tough for Palace and their legs were tiring, we looked unbelievable. We still looked so sharp, and I think that's what Poch is working on in the training ground.
That should be a bare minimum though, really, for Chelsea. I mean,
I don't know. I think under Potter we were probably really unfit. I think Frank Lampard was so shocked what he walked into, and I think Poch probably identified that and thought, no, I'm going to drill this team. And ultimately that's what can win you games, is that when your mind's getting tired and your body can't keep up with it, we look really sharp. And I think actually I'll back Poch and say fair play on that, because I haven't been sure, but I think moving into this latter part of the season, this is where we might see that fitness that he's installed in these players coming into its own. And I think the last 2 games we've shown an exceptional level of energy. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think that you're wrong in that sense, and that's one of the main factors of Poch coming in that people are excited about, that we're going to get a team that runs. But people don't just want to see a team that runs. They want to see intricate play. They want to see clear signs of where we're going and the type of football we're trying to implement.
Yeah, and that's where I'd struggle with Poch, and that's why I probably still am saying these are papering over the cracks. I'm probably still Poch out, because I think some managers will be getting better out of this squad. Yeah. Look, we can't moan. We've got 2 away wins on the bounce, and maybe he's turning a corner, because if we had lost tonight, everyone would have been against him tonight. But 2 wins, they're big wins. It's 6 goals, 2 conceded. You can't really knock that in terms of away form. The football we're playing it's not amazing at times. The substitutions he makes are negative. I've said that before. I'm obviously, we won the game after we made his subs tonight, but I'm not sure they were what won him the game. I actually think individual brilliance and quality is what won the game. Enzo Fernandez and Cole Palmer probably stepped it up in the final third to start creating things, and then obviously Connor was there to put a goal away, and so was Enzo, and Cole Palmer got 2 assists in that match as well. I think Pochettino has a lot of work to do in the football that we're playing. I think he does. I think it can get better, and I think he's right asking for time, because ultimately he needs time and he needs a squad just to stay fit.
I mean, from what I've read online, and I mean, you can read so many things, but it seems like Barley is the man in control of this. If we win the cup, Poch is safe, basically.
And I think fair enough. I think if we win the cup and we go and do a job against Liverpool, fair enough. Like, you can't really ask for much more in terms of this squad becoming winners. Is go and make them win trophies. That's how you do it. That's how you turn this team from kids who haven't really done much into winners and being hungry for more. And I think if Poch does that, then maybe, yeah, he's on the right path. I think we're probably a little bit impatient because of how bad the previous seasons have been and how inconsistent we've been this season. And I think actually, when I see it, I think, okay, something to build on the last 2 games, moving in the right direction. I'm not sure the way he's set up in that 4-4-2 is the best to come to a place like Palace, but I think against Villa that worked really well. I think we probably could have set up a little bit different today and got that game done nice and early, to be honest. Palace, for me, are the worst team in the league with the injuries they've got right now. I think Hodgson is leading the sack race, and I think his tactics and the way he sets his team up are outdated, but actually his substitutions were far more positive than Chelsea and Pochettino's, but he didn't win the game. So arguably there's an argument to be said there that Poch actually got it right, but I'm not sure he did. It confused me, the subs.
I didn't understand Sterling. I mean, I said the same thing against Villa.
Sterling's not going to come on, and I think if you're bringing on Sterling, I still think you're getting a better player than what you bring on in Mudryk, for sure. I think you're bringing on a winner, you're bringing on someone who's been there and done it, and I just think Mudryk doesn't offer that right now. Mudryk absolutely has to be looking at a loan. I can't believe the news come out today that we refused a loan for Mudryk, because why not? Get him playing somewhere. So there you go, summer loan for Mudryk, why not, in my opinion. I think the one I'm frustrated not seeing get a little bit more game time at the moment is Chukwuemeka. I think he's looked really positive since he returned from injury, and the fact that he's not getting many minutes is a bit concerning, because I think there's an opportunity there for him to fit into this team when the legs are tiring and at least get 20-30 minutes, or even if it's 15, at least give him something. I think he's a really positive, exciting player, and I think he started the season off so well, and now he's kind of, this is what happens when you lose so much time in a season through injuries, all of a sudden it's hard to get back in, and I think Nkunku is probably showing that right now. I think it's really important to mention that Nkunku's looked pretty ineffective. I know he scored a great goal, but and his highlight from Villa was probably an unbelievable touch, but other than that I think he's looked pretty ineffective. I think he looks a little bit confused as to where his role is, where does he fit in, and I think Poch and the team probably feel a little bit the same. Pochettino's substitutions today completely isolated him. I felt like he was pretty ineffective after the subs. I think we've got to give Nkunku time, and all that pressure we kind of put on him, it's not really what we expected to see, is it? For 3 or 4 games into his return from injury.
Well, when you want to see the link up as well, you saw that in pre-season with Chukwuemeka, Jackson and Nkunku.
Yes.
That was the trio, and Gallagher was sort of played a little bit deeper because of that. But you know, because of the injuries, Pochettino's changed things, and maybe he's a little bit unsure about whether to go back to what he did in pre-season.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say is a player of Nkunku's quality has to be starting and has to get and learn quickly what this team's about, how this team's going to be playing. I think against Manchester City, Nkunku has to play. I think we showed in this first half that 4-4-2, it's probably more effective when Cole Palmer's in a position that suits him more. We're currently playing Cole Palmer, our best player, out of position at the moment because of poor recruitment that this the board has made and the club's made. That just isn't right for me. If you've got your best player, you play him in his best position. And I think Nkunku is a good enough player to come in and play, and Gallagher can play high up. Cole Palmer out on the right. He's shown tonight how effective he is. He set up that Enzo Fernandez last goal tonight from the right-hand side. He's an effective player. He's got the legs, and I genuinely think we're missing a trick by playing him out of position. The false 9, it's not really working for me anymore, and I think we need to have Cole Palmer in his best position to get the best out of this Chelsea side, for sure. And that's what you were saying about Pochettino. Can he do more? Yes, I think he can. That's moving players into positions where they're far more effective.
Thank you very much, my friend.
Absolute pleasure.
Always a pleasure.